Right, people. Here we are, back again, InterTier. In a rain-soaked Portugal for qualifying. This is going to be interesting. How wet is it? It looks more like it's wet conditions, not Inters. Yeah, here we go. It's got a wet condition because there are puddles everywhere. Let's see, rains down Western Europe, right beside the coast. Portugal is. So, you do expect rain a few times in this race. It's not surprising. But wet race in this one, it's quite interesting. Now we see Angry Badger, always one of the first to go out in qualifying. This time around, he did the first. His teammate will follow him, Hazer. Both Alfa Romeos. Quick to go out to set a time. I wonder if the track could get a little bit more dry, or it's just gonna keep getting wet. Because if it does get dry like last week, it did start raining at the start. It got more drier, drier, drier. So we'll see what the drivers do. We'll see if they stay in. Let's see if they all come out now. Sure, a bunch of them are starting to come out, so looks like it might just be raining throughout the session. But Angry Badger is going to be first to set a time. And we'll see what Giant Buddy can set. It's been an interesting week in UFRL. I hope all the other races this week were exciting. Really had the time to watch a lot of them because I've been really, really busy. But I get to watch this one, that's for sure. I get to watch this one every week, which I'm glad that I can. As you see Mr. P on the Inter, it's interesting from him. I don't know if he has a quality ban or anything, but yeah. Maybe he knows Inter may be faster. I'm sure he will change back to the wet because he's not even out yet. But here we go, Angry Badger starting his lap. His teammate Hazer is going to be next. Then the Aston Martin of Merck, because I believe he's the only Aston Martin on track. As we see on the map, RP moving out of the way for the Red Bull. Don't think he has to because the Red Bull, I don't think, is on the lap. That's the straight track. Oh, it's okay. And a very easy helmet to spot on the head of Angry Badger. The green and the pink. Not bad. As you can see, I believe his teammate is getting closer because he looked a little bit further when they started the lap. But it says I do expect him to be slightly quicker than Angry Badger. He's with multiple wins already this season across a lot of tiers. Especially this one, I believe he has the most wins in the InterTier this season. Oh, as Angry Badger almost goes for a spin. Very close there. That corner is actually quite difficult in the rain. So it's a good job for him to catch that as he gets a 132.7. His teammate Hazer crosses in the line next with a 129.9. Very quick time into the 129s already. Almost 3 seconds faster than his teammate. As next it's going to be, I believe it was Merck, so when he crosses the line, what does he get? So 134 for Merck in the Aston Martin. Reigning runner-up from last season. Reigning 100% champion. See what you can do in this race. He was having quite a good race last week, but right at the end with DNF'd. Right at the end, everything came undone. as we have Destroyer Drag crossing the line and going 132 for slightly faster than Merck and puts himself in P2. The House of Coffee is next to cross the line. One driver who has shown some consistency this season puts himself in P4 with a few podiums in InterTier. I'm sure that he has improved pace. He slots in there in P5. I believe the Williams of Pooch or Stickman. Or was that the Alpine? I believe that's the Alpine of UFRL Beast. Just starting his lap. That's the Alfa Romeos going into the pits now. We do have a Williams in front of Merck of Stickman. What time will he set? Currently sitting in P13. Hasn't set a time yet. When he crosses the line, can he get into the 130s? Or is he going to be under the 130s? Under the 130s, 132.6 for Stickman in the Williams. Is Merck going for another lap? It looks like he might be, but not going into the pits. I did expect for a few drivers to go for multiple laps, especially because it is wet. And as the drivers, do laps, the track will have an ideal racing line that'll be slightly faster than when they first came out, because the rain, the puddles will be, moved out the racing line. So I did expect the track to get slightly faster, but as you can see, a few drivers are on the inters. So it seems like the track might be drying up. Let's destroy a drag. Who went for another lap? What time is he going to say when he crosses the line? It's not faster than the fastest time that he said, so it's not going to move up. It's going to stay down there in P2. But the few drivers who are on the InterTiers are the drivers I want to watch right now. At the InterTiers, the drivers I want to watch right now. Mr. P, who decided not to go out, might have been the one to make the right decision here, because he knew that the track is going to dry up. Just another case of Austria, I believe. I believe it was Austria when the track was wet at the beginning and became drier. Good evening, Pooch. To see you again. Good race from you last race. Hopefully, continue of that form. Get another podium this race. An exciting podium like you did in Vegas. Now Stickman crosses the line to begin another lap. A 132.6 that he currently sits on in P6. But who's going to be the first InterTier driver to set a lap? It was Angry Badger, but he's not. Or is he? He's just coming out now. So no InterTier driver has actually set a lap. So we'll see if the tire is actually quicker as we speak. I don't know, it doesn't look like it's pouring down as much anymore, but the track is clearly still very wet. The puddles are drying up and getting smaller. But that doesn't mean it's not time for the Inters. The Inters also do well in quite wet weather, depending on how the racing line is. Yeah, the Red Bull. Oh, who's on softs? Who's on softs? I believe that's just a mistake. We will be changing back. As the Haas of Coffee puts himself in P2, 129.9. The next driver into the 129s. Coffee, a driver who's quite good at qualifying, I'll say. As Beast puts himself in P6 at 131.1. Still on the wet tires, the Alpine driver. And the Ferrari of Biodi. I believe this is Biodi's first race in the InterTier. I don't remember seeing him in any other race. The Ferrari driver. I believe Mr. P was the only Ferrari driver in this tier. He might be a full-time or just might be racing just for today. Press 136 in P6. And the Alfa Romeo of Angry Badger, the first driver on the Inters, who's about to set the time, and we'll see if those tires truly are the tires to be on right now. As he slightly misses the apex there, not what he will want, but we'll see how he goes for the rest of the lap. Is he going to improve on his first sector, his quickest first sector? Yes, he does, by over a second. So it's clearly a faster tire as we speak, the Inters. And we'll see what the Alfa Romeo driver can do. Can he put himself in provisional pole? Already 1 second up. But the man who is in provisional pole, 129.2, is now Destroyer Drag with a 129.2. He decided to push on those laps. push on those tires, and it did improve. Hazer is also out there, but he has been very limited his lap. But there you go. Destroy your track. Currently your pole man. And we'll see if the InterTier drivers can't beat that. We have Mr. Perm on the InterTiers. Finally coming out to set a lap. But back to Angry Badger, who was improving on his lap, and he's already almost 3 seconds now up on his quickest time. And that is set for a top 3 at least. When he does cross the line, no mistake this time around coming out the final corner. And when he does cross the line, he goes provisional pole position on 1:28.4. And surely now, the InterTiers are the tires to be on. And we'll see how the times come tumbling down as Pooch just begins his lap. Going to go to his teammate who's causing a yellow flag at the back, Stickman. So it looks like he will be going into the pits because the tires will be on now, not those wet tires. Destroyer Drag, current man sitting in P2, also will be going into the pits. But down to Mr. Poem, who's on those inters. I'll see what time he can set. I don't believe he might be on his fast lap now. I think he's might not yet be on his fast lap. He might just be starting it now because of all that ERS still in the tank. It surely hasn't started his lap yet. But when he crosses the line, he will go 1:27.7. So he was on his fastest lap, and he's gone right to the top. Apparently, your provisional pole sitter. And can anybody beat that time? The first driver now into the 1:27s. We're gonna have Angry Badger in the Alfa Romeo, who will be going into the pits. His teammate is in the on the wet, so he will definitely have to go into the pits right behind him. The Williams of Pooch, I believe, who was on the lap. So yes, he is on the lap. Can he beat the time that the Ferrari of UFRL Mr. Poem has set in front? He's also on those inters, the ideal tires to be on right now. And as he crosses the line, he's going to get a 1:28.7 right to the top 3. A good place to be in right now, but the times will continue to tumble down as the track gets drier. As you can see, just a slight drizzle on track, and the puddles have vanished. It's just a wet track now, but with no puddles, so that clearly shows that it is a quicker track than when we started qualifying. To the AlphaTauri now of Doug, who hasn't set a lap yet. This is going to be his first lap setting. But to Bioggi, I believe that's Mr. Prem, he went for another lap on a 1:26.2, almost 1 second faster than his previous lap. A brilliant time from the Ferrari, and he's looking like a driver who's adamant on starting in front. Was having a good race before the unfortunate incident with Merck last race, as Coffee does improve by 8 tenths but doesn't move up positions. 1:29.9 this is going to be on. So you see if you push for another lap, and can he improve on this time? Mr. P sits right on top with 4 minutes to go here in qualifying. 4 to 5 minutes to go in qualifying. Pooch crossing the line now, very, very low in that area. So you can see he's pushing very hard. 1:27.6 goes into the 1:27s now. Next driver into the 1:27s as he puts himself in P2. Also, a driver spotting a very interesting helmet that really stands out. And back to the AlphaTauri in front of Doug. I believe he is on his lap, even though he has a lot of ERS. We'll see what he does. Very, very interesting corner, this one in the wet. So you have to be very careful so you don't lose the back end. As he crosses the line, 1:27.8, a very good time from the AlphaTauri driver. Puts himself in the top 3. Not too surprising, as we know Doug has been improving pace, but Coffee beats that time with a 1:26.7. The next driver, the second driver into the 1:26s, and he's now in P2. One driver that's famed for his qualifying is actually quite good at qualifying, but can he transfer that pace into the race again. Because he's had a few podiums in the last 2 races. I believe P3, double P3 podiums now. And can he get 3 podiums in a row as we have the Williams of Puig? Is he going to improve on his time when he crosses the line? No, he's not. He's 1 second down on his quickest time. So that's not going to be an improvement for Puig. But the McLaren of Press crosses the line. Too big in the lap. Can he get himself out of the P10 and into the top 5 and maybe the top 3? The Red Bull, I believe that's Danny Dean in the Red Bull, also beginning his lap. A few drivers now, almost all the drivers now on the Inters, Merck in the pits now will surely be changing onto the InterTiers with 2 minutes to go here in qualifying. Some of these drivers will have only one more chance to put in a lap to try and improve on their times. A few drivers have a set time. Fever and Danny Dean are 2 drivers who haven't set times. But here you go, Biaggi now with the first purple first sector. And what can the Ferrari driver do? As he does have the Red Bull in front of him, hopefully doesn't compromise his lap. But the Red Bull is also on the lap, so you can't expect him to pull out. So we're going to watch how they fare. Looks like it's not too much of a hindrance to the Ferrari behind. Maybe he can use a little bit of the slipstream. Oof, but as you can see, he's gaining quickly on the Red Bull. So he surely does have a little bit more pace. And it's not what he will want in qualifying. As you can see, he's certainly getting slowed down. As Perez now goes provisional pole with 1 minute to go. Can the McLaren get his first pole position of the season, maybe in UFRL, because I haven't seen Perez get a pole position. As we have the Red Bull and the Ferrari crosses the line, Biaggi still goes provisional pole position after being slightly blocked, but Hazer is going to take that now with a 125.0. The second driver into the 125, almost into the 124s with a stonking lap from Hazer in that Alfa Romeo. Can he get the pole position? A pole position that is not, and he's not. It's not a surprise for us because he does get a few. The dog now into the top 3 and the times are tumbling down, and this is the time that you want to set your lap. Coffee in the house when he crosses the line. Is he going to improve on his time? Surely will improve on his time. He's in P9 now. Can he get himself into that top 3? Can he get provisional pole position when he crosses the line? No, he can't. But into the top 3 he goes with a 125.7. Next across the line is going to be the Williams or Stickman. Doesn't improve on his time, but I believe he's starting his final lap of qualifying. Qualifying has ended. And as you can see, push now. Is he going to improve on his time? Can he get to the top? Yes, he gets to the top. 124.7. The Williams driver is going to be starting pole position. If any other driver has nothing to say about that, Hazer surely doesn't, because that's going to be the end of his qualifying. The Red Bull of Danny Dean, does he have anything to say about it? Can he improve it on the time that he set on the last lap? Because he did have a push lap on the last lap. Or is he going to be going into the pits? And would that be the end of his qualifying? And when he crosses the line, nope, he's not going to cross the line. He's going to go into the pits. So that's that for him. Now to the AlphaTauri of Doug. Crossing the line now. Can he get his first pole position in UFRL? No, he can't. But moves up onto P4. The Red Bull of Destroyer Drac is one driver I'm going to watch. And yes, he does. That's going to be pole position for Destroyer Drac. And can the Mercedes beat that? No, he cannot. And Destroyer Drac is going to be your pole man now. Unless Coffee has anything to say about it. Coffee might be going to the pits because he has done a few laps already. Or no, he's going to cross the line. There's going to be a pole position for Coffee. No, it's not. That's a top 3. And the Red Bull of Destroyer Jack might be simply lovely stuff for him. But as the Williams crosses the line, it's going to be P5. And that will be that. Destroyer Jack is your pole sitter. On his return back to the InterTier, he gets it right to the top. And that's going to be an extra point for the Red Bull driver. Surely will be a happy man. And there you go. A 124.5 for Destroyer Drac. As Push is going to start in P2 and Coffee in P3. Hazer P4. Stickman rounds up your P5. One of his best qualifying positions, Stickman, in the InterTier. We'll see how he can translate that into the race. It was a changeable condition um, qualifying. So you did expect a few shocks at the top. There we go. In 5 minutes, we will be back racing. Please do not ready up. Look into the race day lounge to see the time you're allowed to ready up. And we will be back. All right, it's time to go racing. Let me do a sound check on the stream just to make sure. Just to make sure. Oh, I don't hear nothing. Huh. I hope that's just coming off. I hope the fact that I don't hear nothing is just on my end and not on everybody else's end. Because that would be very disappointing. Tell me if you guys hear me. Tell me on chat if you, in the chat if you hear me or not. I do not hear nothing on my stream. Oh, there we go. That was weird. All right. All right. It's gonna be 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights out here in Portugal under the sun, and his foot to the floor and go, go, go. A very good start from the Red Bull, and he's not going to lose his lead. And as they head to turn 1, he still keeps that lead. And are they going to be squabbling at the back? Viva losing place. It looks like Viva and Danny Dean have come together. They are dropping to the back the Red Bull and the Mercedes. But we keep going. The straight drag leading the way. Already 1 second away from Pooch. Hayes are putting the pressure on him. And is he going to dive down the inside? Going into zone 4? No, he's going to hold it back. Not needed as the race has just started. But here we go. The top 5 all on the mediums. It's going to be hard to say this guy's name. Jordi, I'll just say Jordi, is behind Mr. Poem with the soft tires. So with the Ferrari drivers decide the strategy is to let the second Ferrari go through at the start of the race because he does have the better tires. And behind him is Algeria on the hard. So Mr. Poem will not be under too much pressure if he does let his teammate through. But Angry Badger and Merck squabbling at the back as Angry Badger gets ahead of the Aston Martin. As we head back to the front, the straight drag was 1 second ahead, but Pooch has caught back up now. But will Hazer make the move as quick as possible because he will want to be squabbling with the driver in front as Pooch already defending very, very hard, but there's nothing he can really do. Hazer is going to take that place into P2, and Mr. Wem now still ahead of his teammates as Stickman gets ahead of the AlphaTauri of Dog as they're already making moves without the DRS as Dog now gets back ahead of Stickman. Looks like Stickman didn't have the best entry going into turn 1 and Dog took the opportunity to get back ahead of him. These two have raced each other for so many seasons, so many times, so they'll surely know how each other drive as Hazer now not waiting at all, already at the back of the Red Bull of the straight track, and surely we'll be looking to make a move because in this track, Portugal, it is better to just get ahead of the driver in front of you and try to pull away because only two DRX zone, but only one actual zone to make moves because the second DRS zone is quite difficult to get that move done considering the nature of the corner before that DRS zone as Danny Dean all the way in P15. I don't know what happened at the back between him and Viva. Maybe there were separate incidents. Maybe they did come together. But we head back to the front now. Hazer still behind Destroyer Jack, using a lot of that ERS to try and make the move at the start of the race. And surely he is going to now with the brilliant straight line speed on that car of the Alfa Romeo. And he now gets in front. Down the inside, Mr. P goes on coffee and puts himself in P4. Beautiful move from the Ferrari as we head back to the front. Hazer now is going to try and pull away from Destroyer Jack, but Destroyer Jack is going to have that DRS getting now on the Alfa Romeo, switching to the inside as they're going to be a wheel to wheel into turn 4. Hazer with the switchback with a brilliant move from the Alfa Romeo, but can he get that move done? Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. Wonderful stuff from Hazer as he keeps that lead in P1 as they keep squabbling. It's interesting stuff going on here. Miss Merck still stuck behind Angry Badger as Bioggi now has made a mistake into the gravel. The Ferrari goes. Not the best first race for the Ferrari now. Already with a 3-second penalty, and also making a mistake, dropping him all the way down to P12. And that's not the way he would like to start. As we head back to the front now, Can Hazer pull away from Destroyer Jack. He has used a lot of his ERS to get ahead of Destroyer Jack now. So that's going to mean Destroyer Jack will have quite an opportunity to get back ahead of him because he is saved a lot of ERS to get this move done. And here we go now. Does he even need the ERS? Activates the DRS, gaining as the wheels turn around and switches to the right and down the inside. He's going to get that move done. Easy does it going into turn 1 as Puch is just going to be a spectator in their race in front. He knows that he doesn't need to make the moves too much. He just knows that he can stay behind and save on that ERS because Mr. Prime is going to make this a 4-way battle for the lead of the race, and it's going to make it even more difficult now as we have 4 tier 1 drivers going at it. Here in the InterTier, Destroyer Jack has taken the lead. And can you keep that lead for a few more laps now? We'll see how that happens. The 2 in front might just be switching places to help themselves pull away from the rest of the pack. The Portugal track that's not really famed for its safety cars. We might not see a safety car here today. So, we'll see how that works out. Let's Destroyer Jack 14 as Danny Dean making a move on Beast behind as he's taking a place in P14. Looks like Beast also might have made a mistake and dropped to the back. There's no reason why he should be at the back if he didn't make a mistake. He does have the pace to keep up with the rest of the pack in front of him. But here we go now. Hazer under pressure from Pooch, and Pooch is actually going to try and go for the move and tucking behind the slipstream. Is he close enough to make the move down the inside? No, he's not. He's going to dummy it, but not set well as Hazer is still going to keep that place in P2. Can Hazer make the move on the front as Merc down the inside of Stickman puts himself in P9. Merc is going to try and claw back into the top 5, trying to join the race for the win as Angry Badger down the inside of Stickman going into something. Stickman is going to try and fight it back as he almost made contact with the Ferrari of Yordi, who decided to go for the move as he almost goes into the Alfa Romeo, and that makes Stickman go into the Ferrari and he goes for a spin, but luckily he still keeps the car straight, and that's done. He's not going to lose places, but now he's going to be under pressure from Viva behind. But back to the front as Hazer is still behind. Destroyer Jack is going to use this time to recharge up that ERS because he used a lot of his ERS to try and take the lead of this race. He did take the lead of the race, but it's difficult for him to pull away from Destroyer Jack, so that does have the pace to keep Hazer close. Well, now Hazer with the DRS, will he be going in for the move, or like always will he just tuck behind to try and save up that ERS? Destroyer Jack showing that he does have a lot of pace here in Portugal. And what can he do with that DRS now? Not close enough, so he's going to have to hold it back. And can the rest of any of the drivers make a move? As the McLaren gaining on Algeria, switching to the left and round the outside. Can he get his move done? Will Algeria fight it down the inside? No, he wouldn't. Not enough pace going into turn. With the DRS assistance, Pez takes his place in P6. Oh, is that contact between them? Doesn't look like. I thought it was contact between them. That might have been absolutely chaotic if they did come together. But Hazer now still putting so much pressure on Destroyer Jack. But it's a 4-way battle now for the lead. And with Coffee joined this battle 2 seconds behind he is as Algeria goes down the inside, takes the place back from Pez as he head into something. But Pez trying it down the inside to the corner. Not a corner that you want to be making a move here in Portugal. They decided to pull out from it and make sure that they do not come together. But now, can Hazer finally make the move on Destroyer Jack, who's on 68% ERS, so his ERS is coming on now. Hazer is doing a good job to save up that ERS, and they're almost on the same amount of ERS now. The battery, very important here in Portugal because it does not charge up too quick because Hazer has been on 60% ERS for a few laps now, and he has been tucked behind the Red Bull of Destroyer Jack, and going down the inside, he's going to make the move, gaining on very, very quick, and he's going to take the lead, but around the outside, Destroyer Jack goes and keeps that lead. Beautiful racing from the pair, as we have now Pooch. Oh, it looks like Pooch and Hazer might have a little bit of a coming together, but Pooch is going to stay in P3. Algeria now getting ahead of Prez. They're squabbling at the back. Algeria and Prez, the Alpine and the McLaren. The rivalry has moved on here to the InterTiers. Down the inside, Prez is going to go. And here we go now, side by side, wheel to wheel, round the outside. Algeria is trying to make it stick, but it makes contact with Prez. And that's very, very poor from the Alpine. I believe that might have been his fault right there. Might have been better to pull out, but they have now dropped to the back, the both of them, and they will not be happy drivers whatsoever, as the stewards will handle that incident. But back to the front now, as Hayes are still behind Destroyer Jack. And what can he do? Can he finally get ahead of Destroyer Jack? He tried on the last lap. It looked like he was going to get the move done, but with a brilliant move around the outside, Destroyer Jack kept his place in P1. But here you go now, easily gaining on him with a 10 km an advantage with that DRS. This time around, can he go for the move on the inside? Nope. Still holding it back as pushed right behind Hazer. Under pressure from Mr. Poem, but Mr. Poem is not going for it with low on that ERS though, as push goes deep, and this is the opportunity now for the Ferrari to take that place in P3, round the outside of turn 3, and he's going to take that place from Push, almost making contact with the Ferrari. Can Push now fight it back? Down the inside, no, we cannot. He's going to have to hold it back, and as you can see, Coffee is going to be joining this fight very soon, as Algeria gets ahead of Danny Dean, and Prez will be going into the pit to not be a happy man whatsoever, but he might be going for the hard and I try and go as long as he can on those tires. Depending on how long you want to go, hards do really go long on this track. I've done it before in Portugal. Like, I believe on the 100% tier I did about 38 laps on the hards. It was very difficult, but it was done. As we have Danny Dean getting ahead of Algeria, who had an incident with Prez. I don't know if he did get damage on that incident. Maybe not, because he's still out on track. Here we go now. Hazer, another try on the Red Bull, and this time around, is he close enough to make the move? As Puch is falling back from this pack, and he is close enough to make the move, and is finally going to take back the lead of this race. Push falling back from the rest of the pack, 1.4 seconds now behind them, and he will need to get back into their DRS because he has the House of Coffee rapidly gaining on him, and that's going to give him the DRS advantage to attack the Williams, who's struggling to keep up to the pack. 1.7 seconds now behind, as Coffee now 1.1 seconds behind him. He might be doing well enough to keep Coffee far away out of that DRS, but as you can see, no one else on track has a DRS battle, only the drivers in front, so it's going to be a front watch as we have Hazer and Destroyer Jack going at it, as Mr. P now has joined this three-way battle for the lead of the race. These top 3 drivers do have a lot of pace, we know that, not surprising that they're all in front, but now it's going to be a mind game. It's all about strategy here in Portugal, because if you have the same pace as the driver behind you, it's very, very hard to pull away from him because of the technicalities of these corners. You're going to have to set very brilliant laps if you want to pull away from the man behind you. But here we go now. Hazer slightly using the ERS to pull away going into the final corner, because he doesn't want Destroyer Jack to be going for the move going into turn 1. But Destroyer Jack will be gaining on him with the slipstream, with the DRS advantage, as he's gaining. Is Hazer going to defend it? No, he's not. And Destroyer Jack, slightly makes contact with him there, but luckily no damage done, and he still keeps his car straight. That was very, very scary stuff for the Red Bull as they went into turn 1. But Merck now gaining on Doug, and now can he make the move on Doug? Can he put himself in P6? One driver that has gained a lot of places, I believe, trying to get back to the front. 7 places gained from Merck, also 7 gained from Mr. P. So the most gains are between those two. As Viva now gets moved on Angry Badger went for a spin, and that's why Viva has gotten ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Stickman also getting ahead of the unfortunate Alfa Romeo driver. But as for his teammates, has pulled away from the Destroyer Jack, and that's exactly what he will want. Mr. P will also be wanting that, because now he can have the move done on Destroyer Jack, who wouldn't have the DRS advantage on Hazer in front unless he can catch back to Hazer that 1 second buffer to the Alfa Romeo in front, or they are both almost losing the DRS. Mr. P now might just slightly lose that DRS to Destroyer Jack in front, And yes, he does. No DRS for him. Destroyer Jack does get the DRS back on Hazer. So it's back to a fight between those two. And it looks like it's a top 2 fight now. Unless Mr. P has something to say about that and can catch back up. Coffee, though, has gotten into the DRS zone of Push in front. As Merc now is going to be going on the move on Dog. Dog has no ERS to defend it, and down the inside as the mountain goes. Round the outside, the AlphaTauri is still going to fight it, but there's nothing he can really do as Merc has taken the place into P6, and his next target is going to be Coffee, but 7 seconds ahead. That's going to be a very, very difficult target to get by as Danny Dean and Algerie still squabbling at the back. As Algerie, very close to the back of Danny Dean, but Dog down the inside of Merc made the move on him, but Merc is going to go back round the outside, takes the place back. A very, very tight corner down the inside for the AlphaTauri. Not the best exit coming out of that corner, coming out of the hairpin there. And Merc is going to take that place back. And now, can he pull away? With those hard tires, he can't stay out longer than the rest of the drivers around him. And we'll see how that strategy works out from Merc. Mr. P, though, has cut back to the DRS for the drivers in front. But we're going to look at this because Coffee is finally close enough to push to try and make the move on the Williams driver. And here we go now. Coming out of the final corner with that DRS assistance, can he get it done? But to Algerie at the back as he makes contact with Danny Dean. Not the best driving from the Alpine today. He needs to do slightly better. Make sure it's going to be a clean move if you want to get that move on. But great defending from Push because Coffee was behind him 4/10 and couldn't still make the move even with the DRS assistant. But back to Algerie and Danny Dean, who were getting their elbows out. And here we go now. Algerie coming out of the final corner very low on that ERS. Danny Dean has enough ERS to defend it, but he's not far enough for Algerie to not make the move as he's gaining on the Red Bull. They're going to fight it going into turn 1, giving each other not an edge at all. But Algerie is going to take that place in P11. Slightly goes wide, and surely that would be a warning for him right there. But Algerie has taken the place into P11 now. As we go back to the front, Destroyer Drag doing a great job to keep Hayes on track. As Mr. P is falling back from the both of them. Comfortably sitting in P3 because he doesn't have the pressure of Pooch and Coffee behind. But we'll see how that works out for him in this race. Hayes Merc on those hard tires that will start to get better than the mediums in front. Can he gain on them? He's still 8 seconds behind Coffee in front, so we need to gain a few seconds if he wants to have a chance to catch up to the top 5 when the pit stops. When the first pit stops, and my first and maybe the only pit stops on the track. I don't believe it's going to be a 2-stop strategy for most of these drivers, as Hazer now has lost the lead to Destroyer Drag. So that back into the lead of this race. Mr. P trying his best to catch up to the 2 in front. As we'll see what he can do. Can he catch up to them? As Hazer is very close to Destroyer Jack now. And will he be making a move back on Destroyer Jack again? Or will he be holding it back? Not too close enough. So he's going to have to stick behind the rear wing of that Red Bull. It's been a quite interesting race here as Dog now still puts the pressure on Merc, but also can't get the move going into the hairpin as Merc taking that wide line to try and have the best entry and the best exit coming out of this corner. But Dog is doing a good job to keep close to Merc here with those medium tires that will start to fall off around this part of the race. So those hard tires will be a better tire as we speak. We'll see how that works out for Merc, who is not really gaining time on the driver in front, even with those hard tires. But here we go now. Hazer, 5/10 behind Destroyer Drive. Mr. P doing a good job to pull them in 1.2 seconds now. It was about 1.9 seconds about a few laps ago. But can he catch back up to them? As Hazer now with that DRS. Not close enough, but close enough to keep close to Destroyer Drive in front. Not close enough to make the move though, or easy. Gaining on the Destroyer Jack very quick. But it's going to have to hold it back. It would have been a crazy move to dive down the inside going into there. But here we go now. Dog with that DRS. Is Merc going to defend it? No, he's not. Down the inside, Dog takes that place back into P6. And Merc now has to. As Dog slightly goes wide. That's a corner that you can't slightly go wide when you're going for a move on driver in front. Because with that DRS assistance, you have an extra 10 km/h advantage, and that could make you go wide into that corner. We've seen a few drivers already done in this race. But Hazer 3/10 behind Destroyer Jack now. These 2 in front are just giving a good entertainment. But can Mr. P now catch up to the both of them, 1.1 seconds behind, and he gets into that DRS that he's desperately trying to. Because if he does get into DRS, that makes it a three-way battle for the lead, and that gives him the opportunity to save up the ERS that he's used a lot, to try and catch up to them. And here we go now. Is he going to get back into the ERS? 1.1 second he goes, 9/10 he is, and that is going to be DRS for the Ferrari for sure. And there you go, very hard work from him, and he has gotten back. But the trailer Jack is going to be going into the pits. Hazer is going to have the DRS to pull away from Mr. P, and does he have the pace now to pull away from that Ferrari? The trailer Jack though has decided to go into the pits, and we'll see how that works out for him. He's going for the undercut on the drivers in front. Where we go now, Merck takes that place back away from Doug again, as they are squabbling at the back, these two. And Merck is trying his best to pull away from Doug. Now 9 seconds behind Coffee. They are losing time to the drivers in front as they squabble behind, as Jordi has gone to the pits now. And Viva still staying out on those 14-lap old medium tires. Surely most of the drivers will start to take off now. We'll see when Hazer goes into the pits. Probably will be on this lap. It's not the reason why he shouldn't be coming to the pits on this lap, because he wouldn't want the undercut from Destroyer Drag to work. But Destroyer Drag did go on those soft tires. Soft tires that surely cannot go to the end. And he is going for that 2-stop. But will that 2-stop here work here in Portugal? Because if you do go for the hard tires, it is very easy to keep that place. Even if the other driver goes for 2 soft tires, it's a long pit stop on this track. So you do lose a lot of time when you go into the pits. So that 2-stop strategy might not be the strategy to be on, as Hazer and Mr. P are still staying out, and they might just be on the 1-stop strategy, going for the hards, because it's 16 laps already halfway into the race on those medium tires, and maybe they might just be going a little bit longer. Might just go soft to the end. But the Destroyer Jack surely is going to go in for the 2-stop, and we'll see how that works out for him. And with DRS, he's going to get the move done easily on the Mercedes or Viva, who hasn't come into the pits yet. I was going to drop down into P7. Puch has come into the pits for fresh medium tires. Did he Puch start on the mediums? I believe he started on mediums, so that's quite interesting that he is going on the mediums again. We'll see if it's a 2-stop strategy, because it looks like these drivers are going for the 2-stop. I don't really know the ideal strategy on this track. We'll see how that works out. That's what the strategy comes in. That's the interesting part about racing. What strategies these drivers decide to go on. If I was racing, I would definitely be going for that 1-stop. Because it'd be quite easy to keep your car ahead of the driver who goes for the 2-stop. Especially if you were right beside him when he went for his first stop. So when he goes for his first stop and you keep going and keep going and keep going, then you go for your stop. He gets past you but not too ahead. And he goes for another one, and that would be it. You'd probably be about 15 seconds ahead, and losing 15 seconds in 10 laps, it's not really a thing you would do, especially if you do have the pace to keep. And even though you're on hards compared to the softs, because the softs will start to fall off about 6-7 laps into their stint. So when you're on the hards, you will have the better opportunity to stay ahead. But it looks like Merck will be staying on the hards all the way. They'll switch it to the softs at the end. So we'll see how that works out for him. Maybe he might actually catch up to the drivers in front with the 1-stop strategy. But Destroyer Jack is a driver we're watching now. Decided to go on the softs. How is that going to work out for him? Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a strategy blunder. Maybe that might be the strategy to go on. As we have Mr. P behind Hazer. Still doing a good job to keep Hazer at bay. Make sure that the Alfa Romeo driver doesn't run away with it and doesn't run away with another win here in the InterTier. Mr. P, who is desperately, the reigning champion, desperately looking for a win that has eluded him for a long time now in this tier, as they're staying out again. 18 laps in, still on those medium tires, and surely they will have only one more pit stop. Now, how is this going to work out for Destroyer Jack, as Push makes the move on Viva down the inside, going into one of the last corners on the track, and with those medium tires, as you can see, what tires these drivers actually be on, but there's yellow flags in front as Beast has gone for a spin, and he's getting lapped now, I believe. He's getting very lapped by a few of these drivers. Yes, he is. Nice on what he would like at all. Not the best race from Beast today. He's not having the best race, but usually Beast doesn't really have the best race in Portugal. I've seen him race a few times in Portugal. He's usually at the back and he usually makes a few mistakes. So this is a track, one of those tracks that he struggles in. Everybody has one of those tracks they struggle with, and clearly this is one of them for UFRL Beast. See Hazer and Mr. P helping each other pull away. And let's see how many seconds they have from Jack. 16 seconds he is away from the leader. So this strategy, this two-stop strategy that the Jack went for might not be the strategy to be on. But down the inside, the Ferrari is going to go. Can't the Alfa Romeo fight it back? Oh, as he slightly makes contact with Mr. P, and hopefully that was not damage on the wing of the Alfa Romeo as he makes contact going into turn 1 after Mr. P made the move. And here we go now. Mr. P is going to fight it back again. Down the inside, Hazer is going to go. Mr. P going to defend it. No, he goes for the dummy. Mr. P does not fall for that as he's going to stay behind him. As there's yellow flags at the back, it looks like a driver might be going for DNF. Beast is out of the race. He's pulled out of the race, and that will be that for the Alpine driver. He's done with the race. As we go now back to the front, and they are still squabbling. Let's switch this back to interval. So we see the races happening behind as Viva gets past Angry Badger with the DRS into turn 1 with those soft tires. Can those soft tires get to the end though? That's the question as he slightly goes deep. Probably getting a warning there. But what I want to actually see right now is what tires the Puch start on. Let's go on the race director. Medium. That's what I was saying. I knew he started on medium. So that's a very interesting call from Puch because he definitely has to go into the pits again now. There you go. Hazer, Mr. P, and Coffee all have gone into the pits now. And Destroyer Jack is going to be getting past them. But Destroyer Jack still has one more pit stop in this race. So we'll see how that works out for him. Merck is also staying out on those hard tires right behind Destroyer Jack. And he's right behind Destroyer Jack and we'll be going into the pit soon. Georgia also will be going into the pit soon. He might just be catching up to the Red Bull who was racing for the lead of the race at the start of this race while Merck came all the way from the back. We'll see how the strategy works out for him staying on those hards for as long as he can. And that might just be the strategy, be on the one-stop strategy. But they are going on the softs, Hazer and Mr. Prem, and surely will not be going into the pits again. 13 laps on the soft, surely it can be done. Jack went in 5 laps before them, so he's going to have to do 18 laps on the soft. They will actually absolutely be dying right at the end. Mr. P now ahead of Hazer going into the pits. Can Hazer catch back up to him? 1.3 seconds. Mr. P is pulling away. So Hazer does have the pace to catch back up to him and get back into their DRS zone so they can continue their fight. But we'll see how Mr. P fares in front of the Alfa Romeo. As there's no other DRS fight, his dog's going to make one right now as he gets into 9/10s behind Bioli, who's on those high tires that he surely will be taking to the end. Can dog get ahead of him? He's going to have the DRS so easy, slightly falling off. But yeah, he's going to have that DRS. And can he make the move? He also have those soft tires. He will need to use right now as we speak to get the move done on the Ferrari in front. He's going to have the DRS but not close enough to make the move yet, and might just be the next DRS on or the next lap that the AlphaTauri will be going for the move. But the Hazer and Mr. P still very close to each other now as Hazer has finally caught up 3/10 behind Mr. P now and will have that DRS assistance. Dog the same thing, but here we go now. Can Dog have better entry into that corner? Down the inside he goes as Biaggi just moves out the way. Easy move from the AlphaTauri. Puts himself into P8. 20 lap old hards for the Alpine though. Very long on these hards that he's been on. Same thing as Merck. When would they be going into the pits? With a few laps, it's going to be 10 more laps to go. Surely, soft tires will work very well for Merck if he does go into the pits now. 8 tenths behind. Hazer is. So P does have the pace. Hazer not close enough yet. So she won't be able to make the move. But he does get the fastest lap. 1:18.7 for the Alfa Romeo of Hazer. And not close enough, like I said, to get that move done. No other DRS fights on track. We're going to stick with this too. We'll surely stick with this too. You're already going into the business. But my question now is Destroyer Jack's strategy going to work? Because he's been on those sauce for a very long time now. Can Mr. P and Hazer catch back up to him? Yeah, they've already caught back up to Puch, so Puch will be their next target, their next victim on track. But Puch on those medium tires, and he will have to go into the pits again. It might have been a massive blunder for Puch to go into, put on the medium tires after starting on the medium tires, and will have to go into the pits for a two-stop strategy, while the rest of the drivers looks like they'll be going for the one-stop strategy. Destroyer Jack might be another driver going for the two-stop, but we'll see how that works out for him now. As Biodi, as Puch in front, struggling a little bit, as Mr. P is surely going to be going for the move on him, as he's gaining with that DRS assistance, tucking behind the slipstream, switching to the left side, and easy does it to Ferrari. It's going to take it around the outside. The Alfa Romeo wasn't close enough to make the move on the Williams, but to the next corner, he's going to go for the dummy down the inside. Puch goes deep and round the outside now. Can Hazer with the grip, with the traction, they slightly make contact, but he is going to get ahead of Puch very low on that ERS, using a lot of his ERS to make the move. Oh, as Puch down the inside, they slightly make contact. Hopefully, luckily, it doesn't take Hazer for a spin, but that is not what we want to see at all. As it's not even an incident, the stewards will be handling that. But luckily, nothing doing. Hazer did slightly lose time to Mr. P in front, what he will not want whatsoever, because he wants to be in the DRS zone as the driver in front. But now, my bad, people. Battery controller batteries just died. I forgot that they gave me an indication that my batteries were low. But here we go now. Mr. Poem on Merck. Easy does it. Very easy, because Merck has been on those hard tires for a very, very long time now. As Hazer is going to be the next person to easily get past Merck. But Hazer gets the 3-second penalty. And as we were witness to that, as he goes deep into that corner and gets that 3-second penalty, a penalty that he will not want at all. But this track is showing a lot of pace here, good pace to still be in front, even though he's on 5-lap older tires and the driver's behind him. But at the ending of the race, that's when those tires will start to burn out. That's when the man in P2, Mr. P, the man who is desperately looking for a win this time around, will be going for the move on him, as Hazer is going to try on the move on Merck on those old hard tires. Down the inside he goes on this corner. A beautiful move from the Alfa Romeo as he gets his place back into P3, and Mr. P is going to be the next target. He doesn't have the DRS to attack Mr. P though. That's Merck. When will Merck be going to the pits? Surely has to be now, because he's been on those tires for a very, very long time now. Currently the oldest tires on track, and surely will have to go into the pits as Stickman and Biol Stickman getting overtaken by the Ferrari, or Biol puts himself into the top 10. As we head back to Merck now, who's losing a lot of time to drivers in front, still staying out, hoping for a safety car. But like I said at the start of this race, Portugal is a track that's famed for not having safety cars. So most likely we will not have a safety car with few laps to go here. Now as you can see, the clouds are starting to grey up. And the question is, would the rain start to fall? I don't think so. I wish I could get a weather report from an engineer, a commentary engineer. That would have been nice. But if the rain starts to fall, that throws a different strategy into the mix here. And that's going to throw a lot of shocking events into this race. Especially the fact that Merck is still very close to the top 3. If he does start to rain, it will work very well for him as another 3-second penalty for the Ferrari. And that's going to be a 6-second now. And that is not going to be what he wants whatsoever. A 6/10 now behind Mr. P. Hazer is, and we'll be going for the move. Destroyer Drag still 4.4 seconds in front of these drivers. The undercut did work for him, and he's deciding to stay out. 26 laps now, with 7 laps to go. Can he still keep in front of them? That is the question. But Hazer and Mr. P are going to be squabbling, and that's exactly what Destroyer Drag will want. But as you can see, as I said, the clouds are starting to grey up, and the rain is pouring down. Will it be wet enough for the Inters going to the end of this race? That is the question that we ask now. Merck, this might be a brilliant strategy from the Aston Martin to stay out on those hard tires as long as he can, because the rain is starting to fall, and this is going to definitely give a mix on the grid. But how heavy is this rain? It's just going to keep drizzling to the end of the race. As we have seen Doug already going on those InterTiers. That might not be the right time to go on it, but we'll see how that works out for him. Another early pit stop for him. I believe I've seen Doug go on early InterTier pit stops when it did start to rain. But last time he did that, it was an absolute calamity. But the rain is actually pouring down now, as you can see on track. There's drips of it everywhere, as it's pouring down really, really hard now. And Pooch still fighting with Mark. When is the DRS going to disable? That is the question. That's when you know that the rain is. Oh, as Destroyer Jack with a 5-second penalty, speeding into the pit lane. And I believe it is time for the InterTiers. And there you go now. Oh, he looks like, oh, very close. Oh, he doesn't speed. Very, very lucky as Merck. Oh, yeah, all going to the pit now. And it's time for the InterTiers. But one man who will be very, very happy with the circumstances happening around him is going to be UFRL Mr. Poem, because he doesn't have the penalties that Destroyer Drag and Hazer do have. And now, with those Inters, can he catch up to Destroyer Drag, who is 5 seconds ahead with the 5-second penalty? Oh, just 9.9 seconds ahead actually. And this is Mr. P's opportunity, a win that has been eluding him for a long time now. But Merck, with the man with the strategy win here, as I believe he has the strategy win here. And now, can he get the top 4? Maybe a top 3, depending on how much he can catch up to Hazer in front. Merck, though, I know does have quite a bit of pace in the rain, and will have the pace to catch up to the front as long as he can dispatch Pooch, who's right ahead of him. It's going to be giving him a little bit of dirty air, and it's going to be a struggle and making Hazer in front pull away. We'll see how that works out for him. But Mr. P, with a few laps to go, just needs to catch up. Just needs to catch up to Destroyer Drag. Just needs to make sure Destroyer Drag doesn't pull 5 seconds away, and he is going to be your winner. Ferrari has done a good job in this race, gained a lot of places too. But what can Destroyer Drag do in front? Does he have the rain pace? Can he be the rain master today and pull away from Mr. P? Doing well, 4.2 seconds ahead of the Ferrari. When they came out of the pits, it was 3.9 seconds ahead, so he slightly gained time. But Merck now has gotten a penalty, and now that means it's going to be harder now for him to get that P4. But Pooch in front will also with a penalty now, but Merck does have that penalty and wouldn't be playing inside of him. But there you go, Mr. P 3.8 seconds behind Destroyer Jack, and that will be that as long as he makes sure that Destroyer Jack does not put away, just race well, make sure he doesn't make no mistakes, and can moves be made. Especially coming out of this corner, it's going to be very difficult to make a move in the wet, but because the traction will be so poor, and will not be. It's be very difficult for any of these drivers to get close to the man they are squabbling in front with. So let's see how Merck fares. Can he get ahead of Pooch here? They're going to keep squabbling to the end. But if you look at the front, Mr. P looks like he's going to be your winner, as Algeria is finally going to the pits for the softs. Questionable decision staying out on the softs for that long when the inters when the tires will be on, as he changes as it looks like he changed his wing. It looks like he got damaged. Not the best race for Algeria now, as he's dropping all the way to the back after the incident with Press earlier in the race. He will not be a happy man. But Destroyer Jack back into 4.3 seconds ahead. Can he pull away from Mr. P? That's the question we ask now. Hazer will be praying for a penalty from Mr. P in front so he can try and make the move on him. As Danny Dean now has left the session. Is that a DNF in the pits? Or honestly, it looks like it's in the pit, so we'll be alright. It's not going to be a safety car. Destroyer Jack is doing well. 4.4 seconds. Just need to about 7 more tenths. He will take back the lead of this race, but with that 5-second penalty and Mr. P behind, he needs to push as hard as he can. But as you can see, showing that he does have the pace to do so. He did get the pole position in the rain, so can that translate? Can his pace in the rain translate here into the race? Can he pull away from Mr. P? Always fluctuating between 3.9, 3.8 and 4.4 seconds ahead of Mr. P. Just needs to push as hard as he can right now and just hope that Hazer puts enough pressure on the Ferrari behind to make a mistake or to squabble with him, so Destroyer Jack can't pull away. But looks like there's another Ferrari who's made a mistake. Biaggi is round and not the best first race for the Ferrari driver, and maybe he's gonna have to go for the next round, because surely this round is over for the Ferrari driver. But back to the front as his teammate is still squabbling, trying for that win. 4 seconds now, 3.9 seconds behind Destroyer Jack with 4 laps to go. What is going to happen in front as Merck still can't get past Pooch? I don't think any driver will be able to make a move here unless the driver in front makes a mistake. You're going to have to hope for a mistake, because the 2 DRS zone, the traction coming out of those corners in the wet isn't actually good enough whatsoever to be making a move, and without DRS assistance, that makes it harder, doubly harder to try and make a move. But Mr. P doing very well, 3.6 seconds behind Destroyer Jack. He's not letting the Red Bull go whatsoever. He's desperately pushing hard for this win. A win that's eluded him for a long time, so he's not going to give up at all. As you can see, the Red Bull is getting closer and closer on his screen. 3.5 seconds now, closest he's been after the pit stop for the InterTiers. And if he can get it to 2 seconds, 2.9 seconds, surely that will be the win for him, because it will be very difficult for the Destroyer Jack to pull 2 seconds away from a driver who surely has enough pace to stick with him, as he retired from the session Press in the pits. So that will not be a safety car. And also, Biaggi has gone into the pits, and surely will also be retiring from the session. No, he's not. He might be going for the fastest lap, a fresh set of tires. As he won't be retiring from the session, as 3 drivers have retired now. Press. Danny Dean and Beast have all retired from the session. But back to the front now. So P, is this going to be his win? As they're going to be starting the penultimate lap at the end of this one. And he's still 3.9 seconds behind Destroyer Jack. A 5-second penalty that Destroyer Jack got going into the pits will absolutely be in his head right now, be pissing him off. Absolutely gotten from the Red Bull driver, because he was showing a lot of pace. He was certainly going to be a winner here. Very good strategy, very good driving. But the mistake going into the pits is going to make all that go undone. Hazer is not going to get ahead of him though, because Hazer does have 3-second penalty. Surely Mr. P is going to, when they do finish this race. So the penultimate lap has begun, and 2 more laps, 2 more opportunities for Destroyer Jack to try and get that win. And what can he do? The Ferrari, the prancing horse, isn't going to make it a simply lovely day for Destroyer Jack in front. That's a 6-second penalty now for Hazer. As Merck still trying to get past Push, but no, can't get it done. As 3 seconds now, Coffee is behind Merck. Merck will need to pull away from Coffee because 3 more tenths, 4 more tenths, and he will be finishing ahead of Merck when they do cross the line. It's going to be one more lap as there's yellow flags at the back. It looks like the driver is being lapped. Algeria is being lapped by the rest of the drivers, by the leading drivers. And here we go now on the penultimate lap of this race. It's going to be an exciting last lap. Is anybody going to make a mistake? Oh, as the Sheriff's Jack slightly goes deep there. Pushing hard, trying to pull away from Mr. P. It looks like there's nothing he can really do. And it's about to start the last lap of this race. 4 seconds ahead of Mr. P. We need to push and gain 1 second of him if he wants to win this race. And he might just have to do that. He might just have to push as hard as he can. Use all that ERS. Fly into the corners. Catch the car. Go as fast as you can. Put up a qualifying lap. And see how that works out for him. And here we go on the final lap of this race. What can Destroyer Jack do? Can he pull away? Can he get this win? Doesn't look like he can. Mr. P doing very well. 4 seconds behind him. As slightly goes deep, Algeria. As Mr. P behind hasn't lapped him yet, so he does have the pace to stay ahead of the Ferrari. That's 3.9 seconds now. First sector done, and the second sector now, and it's looking like it might just be the win for Mr. P, the win that he has been looking for a very long time now. And here we go. He's just gonna have 1.5 more sectors to go to finally get that win. The prancing horse with a very, very good race today. No mistakes, no penalties. Very, very good driving. Starting all the way, I believe, 8 places behind. Where he started, yep, we gained 8 places. Merck gained 92. Drivers gaining the most here. But Mr. P gaining 8 places into P2 from P10. And that surely is going to be a driver of the day if he does get this win. And here we go now, out of the penultimate corner and out of the final corner. Destroyer Jack is going to cross the line to in P1, but because of that penalty, Mr. P is going to cross the line and win here in Portugal. He's finally done it. The win for our reigning champion, Mr. P. A very well-deserved win. As Push crosses the line in P4, Merck will take that P5. Coffee's going to take P5 from Merck because he was in 3-second buffer from Merck, and Doug is going to settle for P7. That's if he doesn't have too many penalties to stay ahead of Viva. As Angry Badger is going to finish in P9. Stickman in P10, and Audrey and Bijodi have already finished the race as they have been lapped. But there you go. Mr. P is your winner. The Ferrari with a very, very good drive. And he's going to be a very, very happy man. Destroyer Drag, very unlucky. Would have deserved the win if not for that mistake going into the pits and getting that 5-second penalty. And Hazer rounding up your top 3. Not bad. Not bad at all. Exciting race. We're just waiting for Stickman to cross the line and finish the race. As he rounds up the top 10. Boop. Who's your driver of the day? Mr. P surely has to be your driver of the day. Yes, he is. No question about it. And he will definitely also win your driver of the day in the Discord. But there you go. The Ferrari man is going to start at the top step of the podium, accompanied by the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo drivers. I see a very happy man raises that trophy aloft. His Ferrari teammates and the garage celebrate because we know the champagne is going to taste the best. In the Scuderia Ferrari car, Mr. P wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. exciting Grand Prix. And as always, I'm gonna show you my race director just in case anybody needs it for incidents. But let's see what happened at the start. It looked like it was Dog that made the collision with Viva at the start, and Mr. P made the collision with Danny Dean. So he started the collision with Danny Dean. Maybe that would be a penalty for him, or maybe it was because Danny Dean went for a spin and Mr. P went into him. But we'll see how that works out. But here we go. Anybody needing the um anybody needing the race director can come straight here to look at it. There you go. Make sure it also show the finishing order. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna raid now. Let's see what we can raid. Our F1 streams. I believe we raided them last week. I don't think so. I don't think we did. It was someone else. Our F1 streams. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I've been Willie Fernandez as always. We have been UFRL. Let's see what we're gonna on F123. Hmm. Maybe Funky T-Bone. Let's go for him. Thank you for tuning in. We have been here for. I've been waiting for this. Goodbye.